What's going on, all my fellow bait chuckers out there? My name is Michael. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video today. I really appreciate all of you taking some time out of your day to spend it with us here inside of the bait shop. I'm going to apologize in advance for the raspy voice. I'm just getting over a cold or a flu or something. Who knows? Whatever it was, took me out for a whole week, but we're feeling better. Wanted to get a video out to you all. I wanted to do a video that I thought would be pretty fun. It's a technique that I've seen a few other bait makers starting to do more and more on YouTube, and I figured, well, I might as well jump in and do a video as well. And that involves dusting. So I figured we would bust out the open pour molds, and we'll be using the Jackhammer molds specifically from Epic Bait Molds for this video. The Jackhammer is kind of a no frills open pour swim bait mold. It's just a pure slender body. It's headless. It's got a nice rectangular square tail, and this is going to give us a nice canvas to go ahead and do our dusting on. Now, we'll be using the 3-inch, the 4-inch, and the 5-inch jackhammers in today's video, and I thought we would kind of go a little bit in depth and really experiment a little bit with dusting with the Holoshift powders. You know, let's see how they perform. I think it's going to be a good time. We're going to try a few different experiments. We're going to mess around with some clear, and really the only pigment we're going to use today is going to be black plastisol, and we're going to use it as a backer. So you'll see what I'm talking about here in a couple minutes. Let's get these molds warmed up and start mixing up our, well, I guess we're not really going to mix a first color. We're going to warm the plastisol. Let's get going. Okay, so we do have our hot plate warming up. It is set to the warm setting. We're not really heating up the molds. We're just going to warm them up. You know, we want to kind of get that room temperature chill off of the molds because we are going to be doing some capsule pours. Because we're going to be dusting, we're going to have to do a quick little capsule pour of some clear on each of the sides of the open pour mold. So we want our molds to be warm so that plastic flows nice and evenly. We don't get any kind of, you know, cold cracks or bumps or ripples in the bait. I mean, you can always fix it using a heat gun, but I just prefer to avoid it in general. Just warm the molds up. We're going to be using the hot plate anyways, you know, it's not that big of a deal. So we're going to go ahead and get those molds warmed up while we heat up our first cup of plastisol. All right, here we go. Nice fresh cup of plastisol ready to go. Let's get you all zoomed in here. Now, the color preparation for this, very simple. We're going to utilize the power of clear. If you aren't familiar with what the power of clear is, well, I'm going to put a link to a video right up here in the upper right hand corner of your screen by my good friend Nick Rundle. We are going to add in some silver holographic flake. This is the small 0.015, and when I say a little, I mean we're just going to take a pinch, okay, just like that. We're going to go ahead and get this mixed in here, and the reason I do this is because this just adds a little randomized sparkle here and there. You can see it's not a whole lot of flake. It's just a very sparse amount. This is going to be our outer layer, and so we're going to go ahead and get this into the vacuum chamber. We are going to give it a quick vacuum even though there's not many bubbles in it. We just want to be sure this is going to be our outer skin. So we're going to throw this in the vacuum chamber, then we'll get gloved up and we'll do some capsule pouring. Okay, we're back. Our plastisol is vacuumed out, and we have our 3-inch jackhammer mold here. It's warm. We're going to go ahead and open it up, and what we're going to do basically is we're going to do a capsule pour, and what we really want is, let me get you in here, we want to start at the top and cover as much of the body as we can without kind of dipping into the tail. It's okay if you dip into the tail. That's totally fine, but that's not the effect that we're going for today. So we're just going to start right here on the top, make our way down, let it slide down, and then boom, tilt it down just like that. And we're going to let it drip onto the silicone mat. That is the beauty of the silicone mat. We'll set that aside, and then we'll start with our other one. Now, because it's the other side here, we got to do this and pour it the other direction. Okay, so we're going to start here. Let it tilt down a little bit, and boom, dip it out before it gets into the back of that tail. Alright, and we're just going to go ahead and repeat down the line. All right, we'll show you again here on one of the larger ones. This is the 5-inch jackhammer. Let's give this a shot here. We're going to start here in the head, pour it down, let it run down in the tail, boom, and dump it out before it hits the back. And this is going to give us a skin all the way down. The warm molds are going to prevent any lips or bumps from forming. And then you can see we have a nice, beautiful capsule pour all the way down the backside. Let's do the other side here. All right. And dump. Beautiful. All right. And that is what we're looking like. We're going to rinse and repeat, and we're going to do this on the rest of the molds and get them all prepped. All right, I'm halfway through the process here, and I figured I would bring a lot of the newcomers along. When you have the over pour like this, okay, what I'm going to do basically is use my thumb, and right across the top edge, I'm going to come and carefully pinch, because I don't want to rip out the skin that we just poured into the mold, but I'm using the edge to push down and kind of trim off that top piece right there. And now it leaves this beautiful capsule pour inside of the bait, and that's what we're going to be doing a lot of our dusting on. So hard to see because it's clear, but it is in there. You can kind of see where it cuts off here in the tail right there, that little bit right there. So yeah, this is going to give us a nice capsule pour on all sides of our mold. All right. Here we are. We now have a mold that has a beautiful capsule pour on both sides. We're all trimmed up, and now we can start our dusting process. So I'm going to go ahead and take some Holoshift powder here. I'm going to use the Borealis just because, well, I mean, it looks fantastic. It has that green to blue color shift to it, and it shows really well even in clear baits as well as on a black background. So we're going to demonstrate that here, because we're going to fill up one of the baits with just clear plastisol and another bait with black plastisol, so we can compare, and we'll see how that goes. So you can, use this to dust patterns, do all kinds of different things with the dusting. I've done videos where I've used different mica powders and painted perch patterns, and you can do all kinds of stuff. This is a free canvas right here. It's your world, and you can do whatever you want. So right now what we're going to do is I'm going to take my little brush, and I'm going to dip it here, okay, into my Holoshift powder. You see that there? And yep, it's okay if it sprinkles everywhere. I'm not really worried about that, because we're just going to brush it all over. Okay? And now just from me brushing it all over, you can already start to see, hopefully on camera, some of the shimmer. There's some pinks and purples that come out, all kinds of different colors that come out when you take the Holoshift powder and actually spread it and brush it on to a surface. Really cool stuff. It doesn't take a lot of powder, and this is a great way to actually make your powder last a very long time. You can make it stretch out very far by not having to, put it into big cups of plastisol. You can simply just sit here and paint it in and make some awesome looking baits. And there you go. You can see we've dusted the entire skin. You can see all the way through it. When the light reflects it, you can see that sheen coming off of there, all the different colors. This is going to look pretty cool. All right, we're going to go ahead and rinse and repeat for the other 5-inch jackhammer, and then maybe we'll switch up colors, and I think that's what we'll do. We'll do a different color for each size. Okay, next up is the Solar Sugar. I think we're going to go with that here on the 4-inch jackhammer. So we'll go ahead and get right in here and start dusting this. Solar Sugar has a beautiful pink to orange color shift there. Awesome stuff. Again, we're just going to dip our brush in the powder and just start painting away. We're just going to cover the whole skin. Got to be careful not to lift up too much. We don't want to pull that skin. You don't want to rub too hard. We want to dust enough powder across everything to get even coverage. Awesome, look at that. We're getting kind of pinkish. There's some even blue and turquoise going on there. Awesome stuff. All right, let's wrap up the 4 inches. All right, next up for the 3-inch jackhammer, I think we're going to go in on the Cortana. This is a solid color Holoshift, and this is going to give us that kind of cyan green to blue to purple, and this is a great way to show off some of the solid color Holoshift powders. So again, just like the Aurora Pearls, we're going to go ahead and load our brush up with some powder, and we are just going to go ahead and start painting. Easy as that. When you use the solid Holoshifts, you really get to see all of the holographic that's mixed in there too when you do the dusting technique like this. It's pretty cool, and I can't wait for you to see what it looks like on the smooth surface on the back side of this. Once we pour our baits and demold everything, it's going to look pretty slick. I think you're going to like it. So don't leave the full color Holoshifts out of the equation when it comes to your dusting. You can get some really, really cool effects. Yeah, I think that is going to do nicely. Awesome stuff. Alright, now we have everything set up here on the hot plate. The molds are hot to the touch. We don't want to touch them because the hot plate is currently set to 115 degrees Celsius. Mine reads in Celsius. That's usually what I pour my baits at. You really want to aim for around 250 to 270 degrees Fahrenheit. So keep that in mind. Every hot plate is going to be a little bit different, but this is what we're focusing on here today is 115 degrees Celsius. And you can see I've got black plastisol here. So we're going to go in first with the standard black backer on these, and then after that's cooling down, we'll do the next set using just clear. So let's take a look at how horrible my hand pouring skills are since it's been a minute. Start the front, work our way back. Absolutely horrible because I just bumped my elbow. That's shameful. Let's not pay attention to that. Okay? Hard to do this in front of the camera. Yep, there you go. And like they say on the Facebook forums, hand pouring is easy. Anyone can do that, right? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, let's give the third one a shot. And wouldn't you know it, on the smallest one, I do the best pour. Ah, brother. Okay, well, now we'll go ahead and let these bake. We're going to crank this up to... on my hot plate here, I crank it up to 165 degrees. You're going to want to crank your hot plate up to about 350. Let that run for about 10 minutes. And then we'll take these off, set these to the side, and then we'll come back and we will pour the clear ones. And I will hopefully put the camera in a better position so I can pour better. Because this was absolutely atrocious. But it's okay. When it's all dry, we'll just go ahead and pinch it off. As Nick would say, we're just going to pinch off the edges. It'll be fine. Trust me. It'll be fine. Okay, we are back. We have ourselves our nice, clear, all heated up, ready to go. We're going to fill these in. Hopefully I can redeem myself. We have a much better camera angle. in which I can do some better pours. So we'll do a nice slow pour. Again, the molds are heated up. It's just going to flow where it needs to go. See, when I can move my arm, I can do a much better job pouring. There we go. That's respectable, at least. Not the best, but still respectable. All right. Whew. It does get very tight here in the tails, so you got to be careful if you are pouring these molds. Definitely not for the beginner, but it's okay. We can clean it all up in the end. Alright, there we go. We will go ahead and let those cook. We'll raise the temperature up, let them cook for 10 minutes, and then we'll meet you over on the workbench for a little demolding. Alright, we have another cup of plastisol heated up, ready to go. And we are going to go ahead and get all gloved up here. I've got the 3-inch slick swim and the 3-inch chunk swim out here. So while everything's cooling off, I figured we'd have a fun little experiment here with the rest of the plastisol, and we'll show you a pretty cool technique called dipping. Alright, we'll let these cool off, and then we'll show you what we're going to do with the rest of the clear plastisol here in a second. Alright, so now we've got our clear plastisol heated back up. Again, it just has that little bit of the silver holographic mixed in there. But what we're going to do now is we're going to make a nice little mixture. We're going to bring in the Borealis again, okay? And now I'm just going to, just a dash of Borealis here, maybe half of a 1/16. We're going to drop that in there. And I'm going to take a little bit of the Sonic. We're going to take another little half teaspoon, half of a 1/16 of a teaspoon, and we'll pop that in there as well. And so this is going to give us a nice clear mixture with a little bit of silver holographic, a little bit of Borealis, and a little bit of Sonic in there. And that extra blue and purple from the Sonic are going to make for some awesome effects. So now we have our plastisol all mixed up. We have our chunk swims, we have our slick swims poured in pure black plastisol. Those are going to be a nice backer. So next thing we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and take our chunk swimmer, and we're just going to dip it right inside the plastisol all the way up to the tail, and then let it drain off just like that. A little warm to the touch, but you can see now we have a full coating of the Borealis and the Sonic over top of the black background. And this is a great way to get full coverage of a bait without having to mix a full cup of plastisol and inject. You can actually make it go a lot further by dipping your baits and giving them an outer coating using a clear cup of plastisol. You'll get a lot more baits going and dipping it than you would just injecting. So another cool way to use it. We'll get some better lighting here in a second. Let me go ahead and dip a couple more of these baits. Let's get another chunk swim here. Just dip it in there, boom, just like that. All right, welcome back to the workbench. And real briefly, here is another look at those chunk swims and those slick swims, all dipped like that. Pretty sweet stuff. It reminds me of the Bass Tricks baits. You know, they kind of, everything's dipped for their baits, but you get this really cool borealis effect. I mean, any effect really. You can use any mica powder, any, you know, Holoshift powder. It's pretty cool stuff. Dipping, definitely something to make your expensive powders last a little bit longer. I mean, we've dipped all of these baits and I still have half a cup of clear plastisol left. So a fun little dipping technique there for you to get some interesting new colors out of your baits. All right, and let's focus on the demolding here. You can see we have our clear jackhammers over here, and then we have our solid black jackhammers over here. Let's start with the solid black first. Why not? We'll give that a shot. You can see I went ahead. It's a little rough here. I know it's a little rough, but I went ahead and just pinched everything off. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's still going to fish. But look at that. Woo! Wow, we definitely get the green from this angle. There you go. You can see some of the blue shifting in there as well. Let's get the aluminum out of the equation for you there. Look at that. There, now you can see the shift. Woo-wee! Green to blue. That's the borealis. But I mean, it almost looks metallic in a way. But you can see it's just brushed on. It's solid black. So this is a great way for you to get that solid color look of the Holoshift or Color Shift powder without dumping a whole bunch into a full cup of plastisol. Look at that. Really cool. As that thing's going through the water, I mean, that's going to go from black to cyan to blue. That is pretty cool stuff there. What do y'all think? Let me know. Fun, cool trick. Now, I guess we could probably do this in order. We should probably demold the clear version of this and see how that turns out. So let's go ahead and set this down right there. And let's demold the clear version of the borealis. Oh, yeah. See, now you get more of the aurora effect going on in there. You see the aurora? This is why they call them aurora powders. Let's get the mold out of the way here. Now look at that. Okay, same thing, just clear in the middle. All we did was dust the walls, and look at that amazing aurora borealis effect that you get in there. And so here we go. Here are the two baits. We did a dusting, right? All we did was dusting. And just look at that. Goodness gracious. Let me get down here close so you all can see it. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. I'm really digging this clear one, I'll be honest. I mean, that's a clear water killer right there. Absolute clear water destroyer. Look at that. Perfectly clear see-through. We just added a little bit of powder on that skin pour, and you get that amazing effect. So cool. All right, let's check out the other ones. Let's see what the Solar Sugar looks like. Okay, here we go. Moving down to the 4-inch jackhammer. Okay. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Did you see that yellow and green in there on the edges of that Solar Sugar? Let's get this out of the mold. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Solar Sugar. I didn't even know Solar Sugar had some yellows and greens in it, but apparently on the extreme edges, it sure does. Look at that. Beautiful pink to red. Awesome when you just brush the powder on that clear skin. And again, we just filled it with black. And that was all we did. So this is just, again, a good example of how you can dust your baits and get some pretty crazy effects out of your powders. I mean, I just love, You hardly see it at certain angles. It turns invisible, so you get that black, but you get the pink to orange copper. Wow. That's pretty cool. All right. What about the clear version? Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Look at that, huh? Sweet Aurora Effect pinks and greens there in that one. Oh, you really see that greens and yellow in there, don't you? Wow, that's cool. Super, super cool. Wow. Sorry, I'm a little taken back. You know, it's just, these powders do some amazing things. The power of clear. I mean, again, this is just a clear water killer. I mean, there's no need to even, like, you don't need anything. Just throw a swim bait head on there and you're good to go. I mean, that's just incredible. Here it is against the black filled version. You can see some spots where we didn't dust it quite all the way. But there you go. Clear versus black on the Solar Sugar. Pretty interesting stuff. All right, let's check the Cortana now. Okay, last but certainly not least is the 3-inch jackhammer. Now we used the Cortana, which was a solid color hollow shift here. Let's see how that turned out. Oh wow, that looks fishy. That looks pretty holographic and fishy to me. Let's get this out of the mold here. We'll lose some of that reflection. Oh yeah, look at that, huh? You got that holographic from the hollow shifts showing through. We got some greens, some purples. Wow, that really kind of has like a bait fish profile to it, doesn't it? I mean, that's a real kind of shiny, holographic-y, pink tones, green tones. Yeah, just black in the center. All we did was dust those edges. Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at the clear version, and then we'll compare it. Oh, look at that, huh? Woo-wee. Awesome. Again, all that holographic effect showing through. You get those pinks, the blues to pink, that kind of cyan in there, but all of that holographic showing through. But it's just clear. It's crystal clear. All we did was dust those edges. Wow. Let's get the other bait in here. Let's compare these two side by side. And there you go. Dusting with Holoshift powders. Pretty cool stuff. Fun little experiment. And these aren't these baits awesome, by the way? I mean, such a cool open pour mold. The jackhammers, I mean, a perfect swim bait profile. Nice and slender. Oh, just awesome. It'll fit right on top of an underspin. And you know it's underspin season right now. Awesome, awesome stuff. All right, you know what time it is. Let's get some close-ups of all of these baits and we will meet you back at the workbench. Everybody, and there you go, some awesome dusting and dipping techniques for you to not only extend the life of your Holoshift powders, but also hopefully to, you know, give you some inspiration to get out in your bait shop and, you know, try some fun new stuff. I really like these jackhammer molds. These are going to do great on some underspins, especially on, you all know my favorite, the 6-inch treble head line through. These pair up perfectly with those, along with the The Dirty Jigs, the small 3-inch works great with the Dirty Jigs Guppy Head underspin, the Tactical Bassin underspin. Again, I'll put links to all of the recommended tackle for the jackhammers down below in the description, along with links to all the molds, the 3-inch, 4-inch, and the 5-inch jackhammers over at Epic Bait Molds. Really appreciate you all using the links in the description below to do your tackle shopping as well as your mold shopping. A little bit of your purchase comes back to help out the channel. We sincerely appreciate you guys all using the affiliate links. Hey, it's what keeps the lights on, you know? So with that, until next time, y'all, you know who it is. Your friend on this end, Michael, out here around these Delta sloughs, reminding you to keep on chucking. I'll get back with yous.